So awesome to have you here, Rita. I'm so happy that you are also in my vlog. You have this super interesting narrative for our viewers that most of the people that I'm trying to work with are people in the agile world, and it's called very often now lean agile. You talked about liberating structures in our first conversation, and you asked, do they know it? Well, I hope they do know it. So I want my hands on top of each other. I want to say, Rita Cardoso, so welcome. And I'm so happy that you are in my vlog, that you had the time for it. I was a little bit running late today, but we are there. Thank you so much. But before we start, because I know already a little bit about you and we know each other, I think from LSP and that kind of stuff, I see a lot of updates from you coming by on LinkedIn. But for all the others in this world, can you tell a little bit who you are, where you're from, and what made you decide to do Lego Series Play?
Okay, sure. Thank you for the enthusiastic presentation of myself. It was really nice. So today it's also a special day here in Lisbon. So I'm from Portugal, Lisbon, because tomorrow it will be the holiday. So it's the holiday for the Saint of Lisbon, Saint Anthony. So it's really a special day and a party day also for all the inhabitants here from Lisbon. So I've been working in continuous improvement from all my life. So in the past 15 years that I started my consultancy life, my expertise methodologies are lean management and Six Sigma also, and I've applied it in many, many areas. So finance, insurance, health, also education. So, and for me, continuous improvement is all about being curious. So it's about looking for ways to make things better, the processes, the services, also how teams work together, but in really small and really with a special meaning process associated to all the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And in before the pandemic, so I participated in a Lego Series Play workshop, and I was really interested in the methodology because I did my Kaizen events, the 1 week mapping all the process with post-its and defining the to be processes. And I thought that the methodology was really, really useful for this kind of environment. So but then the pandemic came and I just did my certification in 2022 with Robert Rasmussen here in Portugal. He came to Porto, so I had that opportunity to make my certification, and I started integrating Lego Series Play inside the Kaizen events a little bit to define the process, the to be process
Yeah.
in that workshop. So it's been really, really interesting doing that.
So just a quick question. You said I was participating in a few Lego Series Play workshops. You had a facilitator in Porto or Lisbon or in Portugal that did the workshops. What was it that you thought, wow, this is really useful as a tool? Because you were not a facilitator yet,
Yeah,
but you thought something like, oh, that's why it's really useful. What was that? What was that moment?
that click.
Yeah, how did that work?
So the click that I found it was so quick to speak about a lot of things and to be objective about it without having all that messy stuff that usually people bring to all the these spaces of sharing. And so it was really, really useful because of that. So people were objective about their ideas and the quickness that they achieved the conclusions. And so for me it was the wow moment that I thought, so I have to include this in my Kaizen events because I want to have this kind of speediness
Yeah.
also in my projects, because at the end of the day, all my customers say, okay, you have to do it, but I can only have the people available for 2 days maximum. So
Yeah.
how can I work in 2 days and to achieve all the goals that are being defined. So the that 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 variable of time, it's really important for me in projects. So I thought, so Lego will be really useful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I may be biased, but I agree with you.
Really biased, yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it's a similar way. Yeah. So I was doing a lot of things in my life, and I've done leadership trainings, and I've done Agile already before, and I did uh, kind of few methods before in my life. And when I did Lego Serious Play, for me, all the bricks came together, and I thought, oh, now everything that I learned in every other coaching situation or stuff like that at once came together, and it's more or less that same kind of epiphany that you telling it, like, oh, now I got a tool that can work and get the things even on a deeper level, I would say, almost also, but getting in that learning process, speed that learning process up. And
Hmm.
that is, I think, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And different kind of people. So I have participants from different areas of the company, and so they can speak the same language. And so for me, that's the magical point also of the workshop, because everyone is at the same level, they are speaking the same language, and so it's easy
Yeah.
to for the flow to happen and for people to feel available and in a secure environment also. So that's
Yeah,
really, really
true.
important
Yeah.
also.
And what, so this is how you start with it, and then you did the training in 2022. That's not that long ago, because we are now in 2025. So
Yeah.
it's only 3 years, some people would argue. For other people, this is maybe a lifetime. Um, but how is it going now? What you're doing it? Is it working as good as you were hoping in 2022?
Yeah, I was really lucky because at that time I was in a client and I was reviewing a lot of critical processes inside the organization. And so when I finished my certification, I asked the manager, so can I include in the next workshops this methodology so we can train a little bit and see how it goes? And they said, yes, let's go for it. So, and it was really, really fantastic because they had that time limitation of having people only available for 1 day and a half or something like that.
Yeah,
So I started to do the to be definition of the processes with Lego series plays. So we had the mapping of the baseline of the process. So the as is process, the all the definition of the tasks and the times and all the that measurements. But then the next step of where do we want to go, it was a
yeah,
little bit tricky and it would take a little bit longer to achieve. So I've included Lego Series Play to do that. And in 3 hours, I was able to do it with the team. So, and the team was really involved and they really enjoyed the methodology. And even today, because I still collaborate with this client, and when they see me, they say, so when are you coming again to do a little bit more of a Lego Serious Play workshop or something like that? We really need you here. So it was really a good feedback also for me because the methodology really worked. And like one of the people that was one of the facilitators also that was certified in my class
mhm,
was working at that client. So it was really like because I had in one of the workshops, one of the occasion, I had a really large group, and so
yeah,
I was not able to facilitate by myself, and I invited him to co-facilitate with me, and it was really really fun, and it really worked out well. And even today we work in co-facilitation together, so it was really useful.
yeah. And for me, this is you bring this like it's the most normal thing in the world, and I believe that in the agile world, sharing is caring. Very often you hear agile coaches and scrum masters want to help each other. But also with this Lego Serious Play, I see a lot of people in the community. wanting to help the other, and co-facilitating. Nobody is like scared that people steal their clients, because there's so much still to do that we are in shortage of good facilitators. So I see also with us in the Netherlands that facilitators look each other up and help to make that product all the time better. And that's a really amazing community to be part of. I all the time think.
Yeah, and for us, it's a little bit because of that, the good practice of the number of people that you can facilitate by yourself. If you want to deliver high standards and high quality work. So for me, it's a little bit between the 8 and 12 people, because more participants than that, I need someone to co-facilitate, because I need to have two groups separated so we can be available for the group to be there to understand their models, to ask the right questions. So it's you have that detail that's really needed. So if it's really a large group and you're just doing something with Lego, it's one thing. But if you're doing Lego series play and you want to do all the steps, and like we had the training, so we were really newbies. We want to do all the steps correctly. So it was really useful to do that with two separate groups and to have to co-facilitate with him also. And also
Yeah,
for the definition of the right questions, né? So what is the correct 81 question? So
yeah.
so and to have a
And
little bit
exactly,
of
and
chatting.
that really makes you better. Like practice makes you a lot of better. And I think I agree with you. What I always explain to people as well is that you want to work in the ideal Scrum team size. And the Scrum team size 7 would be ideal. You can go till 9 or 10, and yes, in some cases until 12. But I find 12 already for the participants often very challenging. And maybe as facilitator I can do it, but to listen to 12 stories is also at the end of the day really hard to keep that focus, I would almost say, right? I have the feeling that the attention span of people is getting shorter. So with a bigger group is different. And yes, I like the definition that you make. Hey, to do maybe something really fun and what is great team building. And yes, you used also Lego. It's not per se Lego series play.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really good. It helps as well. But it looks like you are using Lego series play also for something to deblock things that are blocked, and you didn't find out yet how to deblock them. You did your own roundabout already 100 times and you didn't get off. It's good for your exercise to run a roundabout, but it doesn't bring you to the end station.
Yeah.
Uh, that's really interesting the way you do that. What would you say then is the power for you if you have to explain a client? What is the power of Lego series play?
So maybe I didn't quite
Sorry,
understand the
we didn't
question.
rehearse questions, but
Yeah. So so what is the
so
power?
what is the unique power of Lego? Why would you use Lego series play? When would you use it? What is that superpower? Like Superman could fly, but he had kryptonite to fall down. But what is his superpower? What is the superpower of Lego series play for you?
So the superpower for me is that everyone has a voice. So for me, it's also as a facilitator, it's really easier for me also, instead of picking everyone to speak and having people to intervene whenever necessary. So that's superpower for me, because it's easier for me as a facilitator to leave people to share and only asking questions about their models. And then the thing about the duration of the it's not the duration of the workshop, but the length that it takes me to achieve the conclusions necessary for the outcomes that I'm searching in the management, and the definition also of of the to be processes. So for me, it's that magic, but also the thing, like you said, so I'm not practicing for a long time, only 3 years. So, but what I was able to observe is if I have an 1 day Lego Serious Play workshop all day long, people at the end of the day are a little bit tired, as you were saying. So a group of 12 people listening to everyone until the end with that focus, with that intention. It's really tiring for the people. So that's why I was mixing a little bit liberating structures techniques with Lego Serious Play, because that way I can have the speed that I need in the conclusions on building the models and having all the ideas here, and then having some kind of techniques that make things more easy to define the action, the implementation plan. Where do we want to go? What is need to be done? That in a with Lego Serious Play, it will take a little bit longer, but
Mm.
mixing liberating structures with Lego Serious Play, you can do it in a short period of time. So it's a little bit.
Interesting. Could you take us concretely how you do that? What are the steps that you use then?
So, for example, um, after people having defined the to be process, so they build individual models of their ideas, and then they make the shared model of the process, how it should be done. Then there is a technique from Liberating Structures that it's called 25-10 crowdsourcing. So it's a speedy uh, uh, way of people writing ideas on some cards.
Yeah.
So to make this going to action, what would be the next step that you would be doing to make this possible? And so Monday morning, what would be the first thing that you do? And people write on that cards, and then they share the cards amongst each others, and each people evaluate the card from 1 to 5 if the idea was really great or not, without knowing who wrote that card.
Mhm.
And at the end, we define the top ideas, the 10 best ideas that were written, and we have already a mini implementation plan defined with all the ideas by order of the best ideas to the worst ideas. So it's a little bit from going to the insight also to the implementation plan in a quick way. So usually I do that, integrating Lego Serious Play with liberating structures.
Really cool. I've seen one of my colleagues doing something similar, but then instead of they did the notes, but you know that in the Lego you have this bricks in your connection kit. There's this brick that's gray and you can write with a marker on it.
Mhm.
And he made like this super small model. They made models of maximum of 7 stones, made a super small model and put the flag on it on their idea, and then they did the same thing with scaling, and they so instead of only writing it, they had a super small model with it as well that made it
Ah.
fun. But yeah, it's really fast as well.
Yeah, yeah, it was really, really fast. And usually it works really well because people are standing up, they are dancing and changing the cards. And so with that movement, and it's more easy for people to give the score to the cards and to define what are the better and the worst ideas. So yeah.
I like it that you use these two systems together and like integrate it, because the clients don't care what tool you use as long as you use an effective tool, right? Really
Yes.
cool. And there are other things of liberating structures that you use inside your Lego series play workshops?
So Yes, because one time I struggled a lot with a workshop because I was co-facilitating a workshop. But it was not my client, and so the a person asked me, "So do you want to co-facilitate this workshop?" And I said, "Sure." But then the briefing that he gave me from the workshop was really abstract with not so much detail. And I was so, but did you meet with the client? So do you have any other information? And the information was not there. And I started making the alignment of the workshop, and I was really confusing. So how am I going to be able to define that? And then I thought, so, and I'm not able to make the first question of the workshop for them to build the first model. So can they define the question of the model? Maybe they can do that. And I was searching the liberating structures, so the techniques, and I found one that's called the wicked question. So it's really wicked because the base of the question is to define a paradox. So instead of doing, oh, should I do this or should I do that? So it's a little bit of inclusion. So how can I do the things at the same time? And so it was a large group. We were three facilitators, so three different groups. And at the beginning, we asked them, so define your wicked question. Inside of each group, they thought a little bit with one technique of liberating structure that's really easy in 6 minutes to define. It's one, two for all. So you think during 1 minute in one question, then you share with some other participant, and then with four people, and then the group decides what's the best question, the best wicked question. And so we had three wicked questions that were voted with a red brick. So everyone went there with a red brick to score the best question, and the question was defined. So the theme of the workshop was defined because they wanted to know how they could be demanding, but also being inclusive inside the organization. And so from there, I asked them to build one model that represented the reasons to be inclusive, and then another model to represent the reasons to be demanding. And so they built, and then we did a little bit of canvas. We did two circles that were convergent, and then they made the position of those models inside the circles. And from there, they were we asked them to build the shared model of, so what actions can strengthen both the demanding part and also the inclusion. And then they built the shared model, and from there the conclusion was made, how can they really be a resilient organization and be both demanding and inclusive at the same time. And it was really, really um gratifying to see how people were talking about all the complexity that these themes bring, and also the assumptions that are already made previously, and also the contradictions that became also good conversations about that. So, and this is, I believe, a good example of how you can convert. And I was speaking with a, another facilitator about this, and he was saying one thing that I thought it was really interesting. He was saying, so you did the landscape before because we all had already the landscape of the model. So because each participant built two models and he placed the models, so we started the workshop with a landscape. It was really interesting. So a little bit reversed also.
No, and I think that's the power of the tools that we have in Lego Series Play, that you can all the time make a choice what works best for this group, and it's really good to be able to connect there with that team of people that you want to work with. It's like a tool that you can use on. It's not one way that's the only way. It's the same like you use, for example, the liberating structures directly within this, and that you say, oh, and sometimes I do it straight away only with liberating structures. Sometimes I use this. And for example, I noticed that in some teams that I worked with Lego before, they know the whole part of skills building, they know what to expect. We sometimes sit in a retrospective and we find out, hey, wait a minute, this is a topic we talk already for retros about it. This is not the first sprint that this comes up. This is the elephant. This is the elephant room, right? We need to
Yeah.
address that elephant. We need to address that elephant, and then I just get some bricks out and I say, okay, let's do a quick reconnect, and then I say, okay, build what you think is holding us back. We have this,
Yeah.
we have that. What holds us back? And then they go straight away into, and then they take this 2 minutes like silent writing we do in another system. They do silent building, and then 2 minutes later, we have at once 7 different perspectives of that problem, and that gives them a new insight, and that is, I think, so super powerful of this tool.
Hmm.
And I love it that you, for me, the way we do it is with Diamond, and we say there's an individual model, and there's a shared model, and there's a system, and there's mapping. And the funny thing is, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what you do with it. It's always helping you a step further. One thing will take longer, the other thing will take shorter, and that's I think important as a facilitator, that you get like, why do I want to do this step then and then that step there? It's the same for would I use the liberating structures in your workshop and when not. But for me, that sounds like you have that, like, we would say, in your fingers. You know how to do that. There's a magic Rita dust over you. And I'm curious, as a co-facilitator, I'm curious, like, so how do you make that decisions of, hey, then I use Lego Series Play. Oh, then I would use the liberating structures. Then I use, I know, team canvassing. Then I use the way to position people. Then I use more this kind of questioning. Then I use only sticky notes. It's not that one is better than the other one. One is better at a certain moment than the other one. And I'm really curious to, how does that work in the brain of Rita? How does she know which one to choose?
Um, it does, it's not, I don't get it the first time, every time. So
Oh,
it's a process. So the thing is, usually when I'm thinking about the workshop, I try to know the participants who is going to be present during the workshop and to understand a little bit who are they going to be, and also the outputs that the client is expecting from the workshop, and how much time do I have. So these 3 things I need to know before the workshop to try to combine and to deliver the best thing. But even when I'm doing the alignment of the workshop, I believe, oh yes, I believe this will work out fine. But then after half an hour, I think, no, but maybe this will not work out fine. So I start thinking on plan B, C, D, or so a lot of different things that can be done also during that amount of time. And so I'm always trying to taking the pulse of the group. So having the validation, if it's going Are you enjoying yourself this time? Do you believe this is okay for you? Can we continue or not? So I have a little bit of points that I do some validation to see if the next step can be, for example, Lego serious play or not, because I I already had a group that they were really tired of Lego. So when I had the so when I did the invitation with the other question, they were looking at me. So another way. So we have to build another model. So they they were not willing to build any other model. So I had to change and say, okay, so you don't know want no longer Lego. Let's do something else.
Yeah.
So I believe this does, and if you're doing this with some fellow facilitator, with a co-facilitator, it's really easier also for you, because if you're doing everything on your own, you're thinking about the materials, or you're thinking about the participants, you're thinking about the next step, and you don't have anyone to validate. Okay, do you believe this is going okay? This is not going okay. Let's change the rules. And if you have some person alongside with you, the process is really the flow. It's completely different for the facilitators also, not only for the participants, but for yourself. So I believe this dust is made of enormous, a lot of things, and also for the practice, because the more you practice the workshops, the more you understand people, the more you understand what they are willing to do. So if they are tired after lunch, because here in Portugal we have usually big lunches, so after lunch it's more. So yeah, they are all really tired. So usually during the morning the workshops are more enthusiastic also. So there are a lot of variables that influence the outcome of the workshops for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so if you are a beginning facilitator, what is something that you have to be aware of, and how do you get to this Rita standard? How do you get to this the standard that we want to come? How was that journey for you, and what would your advice be to new facilitators?
So when I begin, so I went to Billund,
Yeah,
so in the year that where I met you, and the they're having the conversations with other facilitators that are more experienced than you. It's really useful. So it's and people that make the facilitation with other areas that not your area always get you new insights that are really beneficial also for you. The information available also in the website of the Association of Master Trainers. So I spend a lot of time there searching for stuff, seeing videos, also having insights, participating in the coffee chats, also listening to other people and different kind of experiences also. And every time I can, I really enjoy participating in workshops that are led by other facilitators to see other facilitators on stage and to understand other practices and to see, okay, but I do like this, maybe I could can include that or that or that. And I think that seeing other practices, it's really useful also for your growth, to understand better. And then that thing of at the beginning I didn't do the validation with the group. So having the insights from the group. Are you feeling comfortable or not? And not doing that in a really impository way, but like in a playful way. So do you want still to play more with leg or something like that to feel how the flow of the group is it's going or not? It's really important, and I think this will give you also good inputs for the way that you're choosing during the alignment of the workshop. And I think that's it.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe also a good advice for people who are doubting if they want to become a Lego Series Play facilitator. Do you want a job, or do you want to work at the moment that you all the time have to pay 100% attention? Because I noticed that we also are like totally zoomed in. We have to be in the zone, but also if you're willing to look all the time to that feedback loop. Do I keep the person or the group inside their flow state? So I would almost say go here, and I hope that my colleague builds in here a link to the vlog of Jaka, who explains everything about flow. What is a super interesting thing of like, yeah, that's something. Do you want that or don't you want that? Right? And then you can usher in the genius that is in the room. That get the collective genius, like Curtis said in one of the vlogs. So yeah, that's super interesting. Is that what you want? Then for sure, it's a tool that you can use, and it helps to break open conversations that would otherwise not have been delivered. Awesome. What is more something that you say, oh, this is one thing I really want to address, Martijn. This is something that is important for facilitators to know, or for future facilitators to know?
What I would like to know, or
You would like to share what you say, oh, we didn't discuss this yet, and I would like to talk about that as well.
It would be a theme that for the next vlog, I believe that if you have someone to invite, I would be really interested, because I'm not expertise, but I'm trying to search a little bit. Is how can we know a little bit more about the participants before the workshop? So that would be really interesting, I believe. And I've already searched some tools where you can have a small form and people reply to that. And after that replies, you have a little bit of a vision of the tendencies of the group, the characteristics. And if you have that insights before the workshop, I think that for us facilitators, the it would be really, really more interesting the way that you're defining the alignment of the workshop if you could have that. But here in Portugal, it's not a practice at the moment, from my understanding and but I think this would be really interesting to have this perspective before the workshop, because if you collect the more data that you can collect before the workshop, the richer you'll have the outputs of the workshop also, and the better you could work with the people during the workshop. So for me now, that's the topic that I'm looking forward.
It's a good one. It's a good question, and there's also this part of how much do you want to know on forehand, and how much is depending on the day. I can imagine that we can make a profile of Rita, but that doesn't mean that Rita is the Rita at the morning when she comes into the workshop.
Sure.
And she was just had a marvelous night before and is totally in love with something, and then comes in with a big smile. It's going to be a different Rita than we see on a tired Friday evening after lunch and thinking, is it almost weekend?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But it sparks also. It's a great question. It sparks also something with me, and I'm gonna write it after this vlog down, and maybe I'm gonna do with one of the other guys that helps me with Lego Series Play Agile to compel that a little bit together, because I have some parts that I would say, oh, I think I would do it like this. And that would be maybe interesting to share, and then also do a call out for people who do it on another way. Because I think it's always super interesting, like you said as well, is, hey, how do we challenge each other? And the way you set a learning style for you, and what an advice would be to new facilitators is to peek at the neighbors. That's how we call it, peeking at how are you doing it. That's always, for me, also a very good learning school. I always say I want to stand in several kitchens, then I learn better to cook, because another trainer tells it on another way, and it gives me more insights. And I think that is, for me, it's a very pragmatic and good way to learn the theory and the practicalities. One thing as last question, Rita, before we go to bed and have tomorrow your day off, this vlog will be sent out a couple of weeks later, but what is one advice that you have to give us so that we can sleep well tonight without any worries anymore in our head, and we can wake up tomorrow morning on a healthy way? What would be your last advice to all the listeners?
Continue to practice. Don't be afraid to experience. So a little bit of experience, just for sharing, because you were saying before that thing of people being tired, the of listening 12 people. So the last one still having to the first one still be awake while the last participant is sharing his model or her model. So I did one thing. I have a son. He's 4 years old, and so there's Mother's and Father's Day that you have to go to school and show a little bit what you do. And so I was there doing Lego Serious Play with his class, and they built a tower. Only the tower, because they are from 3 years old until 6 years old, and his class is of 25 kids. So, and they were building the tower, each one of the children, and everyone listened to everyone. So they were paying attention, kids. So the teacher didn't believe that. I didn't believe that. I congratulate them at the end, because I said, so grown-ups are not able to do what you did because you were paying attention for everyone, listening, sharing. So it was really, really marvelous. A group of 25 kids, they all built their tower, and then they stick in groups, and then they did a shared model of the tower also. So it was 1 hour something, but they were all involved and all sharing. So sometimes, and like I'm mother of a child, we learn a lot also about these things with children. So if you have children, or if you have people with children, learn a little bit about their procedures and their practices, and try to implement them also in grown-up stuff, because I think that the outcome is really, really great. So, and I give this example when people are, I did this in my kids' class. They were all paying attention, and people start looking at me, okay. And so it's a little bit not being afraid, and to be with a open heart and open mind, and things will go to the point that you want to. So
Yeah,
it's a little bit this.
yeah, and I think that's partly of listening generously, and at that age, it doesn't cost them a lot of effort to listen generously to the other ones. What I think is a superpower of humankind if we do that well, and it would bring us a lot. So that would be a very good advice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, thank you so much, Rita. I love this vlog. The 45
Okay.
minutes went by like it took only a minute until we were there. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
To all the people that were listening. Also, big hands out. Like we applaud like that. I hear it, and thank you so much. And
Thank you.
up to the next vlog.